Welcome to Becoming the Peak Performer with Dr. Abiola Salami, the world-class performance strategist.
Hello, champion. I am super excited to have you join us on Becoming the Peak Performer with Dr. Abiola Salami once again. The Peak Performer is a platform where African industry leaders, culture shapers, and game changers gain insights to achieve excellence in their space. So, we provide leaders with insights to grow their revenue, to improve operational efficiency, and to retain their customers, employees, and investors, while also providing every professional with insights to grow their careers. In this episode, we shall be having a conversation with a very special person. But before we get into it, let us go on a quick break.
The Kickoff Summit 2025. Start the year strong. Join us at the 2025 New Year Kickoff Summit, where the brightest minds and key market leaders come together to chart a course for success in the upcoming year. This dynamic gathering is designed to set the tone for peak performance across industries. Participants will gain valuable knowledge from experts across multiple sectors, including finance, technology, healthcare, entrepreneurship, and more. Key highlights: expert panel featuring industry leaders and trendsetters, comprehensive 2025 insights across diverse professions and industries. Register now at www.kickoffsummit.com.
Our special guest for today has over 20 years of experience in the field of marketing communications with key focus on advertising and media. Yinka Adebayo started his career with PromoServe Limited and worked with few other advertising agencies and on several multinational clients like Pfizer International, Honda, NIIT, Tower Group, and many more. He did this before joining Media Rich OMD. His experience spans a wide range of products including FMCGs, telecoms, banking, automobile, and airline industries. Yinka Adebayo is presently the Group Executive Director, Omnicom Media Group West and Central Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Yinka Adebayo. It's so good to have you here, Ebo. And there's something really interesting about the two of us that I'll keep for sometime later on in the show. Those who don't know, we'll let them know today.
Interesting.
In your experience, who is a peak performer?
Peak performer. I think for me, I would describe a peak performer as somebody who takes on every assignment as if it's his first, but execute it as if it's the last. And what do I mean? Take it as if it's your first. You know, in the morning when you wake up, you are fresh, you are neat, you are ready to take on the world. You have the energy, you have the drive. But do it as if it's the last, to say, hey, if it's the last thing, I drop on the face of the head. Everybody that gets there will say, so execute as if it's the last and move on. That for me is a peak performer.
Wow.
You do it consistently and it becomes your mark.
Wow. Take it as if it's your first, do it as if it's your last. So what's the place of consistency in being a peak performer? Because these days, we have a lot of one-hit wonders, you know. You have somebody that did something once and hit. Because one of my favorite quotes is by Les Brown, who said that some people fail not because they aimed and missed, but because they aimed and hit and then they park. So they are not consistent. So what's the place of consistency in becoming a peak performer?
Well, I think for me, that's the key word, really, consistency, because the glory of yesterday belongs to yesterday. It's a new paradigm today. And if you back in that euphoria for so long, before you know it, the world will take over you. So I always have something to say, look, in life, if nothing is chasing you, you chase something. You just must keep going. So that consistency must be there, and you must be continually operating at a high level. And that is when you can continue to widen the tarmac and separate the boys from the men.
If nothing is chasing you,
you chase somebody.
You chase somebody. And that is what separates the boys from the men. That's what separates mediocrity from excellence. I would like to learn from you. You know, the challenges. You have over 20 years experience in this space, in the media communication space, with special focus on advertising. Over the past 20 years, what challenges, what major challenges have you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Well, let me see. I think this year actually marked my 30 years in the industry.
Oh,
I joined PromoServe way back in 1995.
30.
So, unexpectedly so, this has come with a whole lot of challenges. And I think one of the greatest challenges is actually convincing clients to say, hey, this is the road to pass, and clients saying, oh, no, I don't believe in that. And your ability to earn money and earn your client respect and continuous patronage is dependent on you being able to take them on that journey and making it a wow experience that they don't want to start. And I think to a large extent, really, for me, I always tell my team, oftentimes when I'm discussing with clients and they are saying no, it's actually a motivation for me, because what that tells to me is the fact that what I'm saying, the client is not seeing, and that's why I'm the consultant anyway. So it's just for me to convince you to say, hey, get on this ship with me. And at the end of the day, and oftentimes you find out that even when client is saying no and you are saying this is the way to go, and they maybe benefit of hindsight, they decide to follow you, and you make it a worldwide journey for them. The accolades are usually louder than even when they see it. So when they are saying no, I say, well, good, you are not seeing the picture I'm seeing, but let's go it. And for me, it's been a major challenge. But gradually over time, when you've done it repeatedly, clients begin to have trust in you. The only question, so each time you tell client, let's jump, the only question they ask is how high, not why, or what's the basis. So I think, and that's where the consistency we spoke about earlier. Do it repeatedly and consistently, and it becomes your, the respect you ask for is usually the one you don't deserve. If you truly deserve it, even your enemy will
dropping nuggets, man. Yeah, dropping nuggets.
You see, I'm very big on quotes. I'm very big on quotes because they are motivations for me.
Yes.
The respect you ask for are usually the ones you don't deserve. If you truly deserve it,
I won't ask for it.
You won't ask for it. They will see it. When you see a man saying, don't you know who I am, is nothing. If it's something, we should be the one telling him this is who you are.
Yeah, dropping nuggets. You are dropping nuggets on this show. This is becoming the peak performer on this show. So I know there's still more coming. There's still more coming, and we'll get them out. So we've talked about the challenges and how you navigate. How you navigate them.
Another critical challenge in our peculiar suit is equally the consumer. They keep changing every day. In fact, as a matter of fact, I would say when we first started, we had what we call brand loyalty. People are loyal to brand, and when you advertise, you can be sure they'll go ahead and buy your brand. But not these days. We are talking about the Gen Z generation where they're asking questions. Yes, we've seen you, we are where we know your brand, but what is the need for us? If you have nothing for them, they are likely to drop you. So if you use the methodology of yesteryear to want to navigate the marketing world this year, you are likely to miss the train and miss it totally. So you must, and I keep on telling people, you say, you cannot be packaging brands and leave yourself unpackaged. So as you package brand, you need to package yourself. So if you are telling the brand to say brand reposition, you as the brand custodian, are you repositioning yourself? If you are saying retool, are you retooling yourself? If you are saying go and re-strategize as a brand, are you re-strategizing yourself? So it has to be a two-way street, and that's where to go. So the consumer is equal, because that's the focus of the brand. That's where, so you need to constantly research into them, understand them, dissect them. In fact, oftentimes your best approach is to see what they are not seeing, so that before they get there, you are here, and before you know, your brand will continue to remain top of mind.
Fantastic. Now, we've talked about challenges, how you resolved them, and I want to find out from you. It's 30 years. 30 years, 3 decades. So we'll do one for each. 3 skills that made you a significant person in your career. 3 skills responsible for your peak performance. 3 skills. What are they? How do they work out for you?
Well, I think, okay, putting it 3 skills, okay. I think I'll say the first one is being intentional, being deliberate, and be purposeful about everything you do.
Well, I said 3 skills. You said the first one.
The first one
is being intentional,
being deliberate, and being purposeful.
And being purposeful.
So when you are intentional, when you are deliberate, when you are purposeful, it enables you to take every project and see the end from the beginning, so that you are able to know where the dead bodies are buried and know where to unplug them and make sure that nothing stops you on your way. You see, if you don't know where you are going in life, anywhere you reach is home. So it's better for you to know where you are headed. So see the end of the project from the beginning, so that when you begin the journey, nothing stops you because you are prepared. That's the first one. The second one is to take every resource, proactive management. See it ahead. If a train is going to hit you, oftentimes for us in this country, oftentimes we see it coming, but we just wait, believing that a miracle will happen.
We have faith. A lot of faith.
No, but prepare for it. Proactive management of resources and as well as talent. Even in terms of managing your staff and all of that, you know the potential of each of them. Who needs help? Who needs to be taken off the train? Who you need to really galvanize? That some people have innate quality, but they're not able to. Can you help them to discover themselves so that they can help you in your own journey to the top? So these are proactive management of talent and resources. Then, of course, it's a tough one, but I think on the final note is actually being able to to see every assignment as an opportunity to build network and widen because your network is actually your net worth. The more people you know, the more you're able to build bridges, the more your ascendance to grow. There are some people in life, they take you to the top. All you need to do is to strategically identify them and lean on them. Before you know it, you are headed to the top. Because the 1 kobo you give somebody when he's broke is more valuable and important to that person than the 1 million you give him when he's rich. So at that point when they need you, are you there for them? So that when you need them, it's just a matter of, guy, let's move on. They will be gladly and willingly support you.
Let us go on a quick break.
You are listening to Becoming the Peak Performer with Dr. Abiola Salami, a platform for inspiring an inclusive culture of peak performance in the African marketplace.
Now, in all of this, I will like to learn your insights on emotional intelligence. How important is the skill emotional intelligence for you as a leader, for leaders, generally out there? How important is that skill? Why should leaders pay attention to developing that skill?
I think it's very, very important. For me, emotional intelligence is something that you can relate to self-awareness. To say, hey, ability to hear what is not said and see what is not obvious. And that's oftentimes the separating this thing. Because oftentimes, you find out that, particularly in this our own climb, there are cases where people are telling you, hey, and actually they mean B. My own policy in life from start is just to say, hey, this is what you are saying. These are your actions. Are they in tandem? If they are together, I give it to you.
Fantastic. Now, I know you've won several awards, several of them. And one of those awards that we are super proud of that you won is TPP recognition. And I would like to learn from you, what makes your TPP recognition special for you?
Yeah, I think for social media, like you said, before the TPP award came in, I've won so many awards and all, but I was a bit touched. 1, because I wasn't even aware of the nomination, so who nominated me and how? That's 1. Then 2, so clearly that whatever you are doing in your smallest classes, continue to do it. Somebody somewhere is watching. And the fact that this is something that was done across Africa.
Yes.
Initially, I thought my own sphere of influence was just restricted to only Nigeria alone. But when you now say, look, it's done across Africa, you actually emerge. So for me, it was really something emotional. And it shows to say clearly, whatever it is that means you're on the right path. Continue to do it and get better at what you do and how you do them. And I think for me, I'm personally, emotionally connected to that, to say, hey, wow, across Africa, you did something really big. So it wasn't surprising to say, hey, recently I got promoted to oversee the West and Central Africa market.
Fantastic.
To say, hey,
Fantastic. That's a great one. That's a great one. Right.
Let this influence spread across.
Yes.
I'm more than happy and glad to do that.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Great. And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that. So, you are a very busy executive. You have won several awards. You have worked on several brands and more to come, bigger success to come. How do you have fun? What's your relaxation routine? Do you even have fun? Do you rest at all? How do you have fun?
Well, I do rest. But what I always tell people is that maybe over time I've learned to rest on the job. How do I mean? I think over time I've succeeded in turning my job, which is a point of passion for me, to fun. I don't see that job anymore. Building brands are things that you must engage people, you must interact. So I have fun with it. In fact, I started off by first getting my immediate constituency, because that's where the problem can come from. Getting my home, my kids, my wife to be interested in the job I do. I started working on some telco accounts that we need to monitor people. I take them into the car, we drive around together, have fun in the midst of it. So you can actually smartly convert your job to fun, so that it doesn't become, so the drudgery does not set in. So frustration does not, burning out does not, it just comes natural. At times people see me at events, I say, hey, if you look at that event very well, I'm making money. Yes, I'm at the comedy show enjoying fun, laughing, but then if you look at it, my brand is sponsoring. So billings is raking. So I think what I've done successfully is to rest on the job. And for me, it comes natural. So over time, it's converting the job to a passion point and making that passion something that generates revenue while relaxation and fun.
Fantastic. Fantastic. A lot that we're learning. It is Yinka Adebayo that we're having a conversation with, a TPP honoree. By the way, I left something out. I said that it's something special that we both know, and that is we both share. That is, we were born not on the same year. but but we share the same birthday.
Absolutely.
Special people.
Yes,
So if you apply anything for us, anything at all, just make it 2. Just make it 2. And
that special day is actually February 26th.
Yes.
Every year. So we celebrate together.
Yes. It didn't get to 29th, but there are some hearers that they will tell us that we should have waited till 29, so we celebrate once in 4 years.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And to say a big congratulations to you for all the success of before now, especially the recent success, your elevation as the Group Executive Director of Omnicom West and Central Africa, covering 2 regions.
Thank you.
Big congratulations, and congratulations in advance on many things to come. Amen. Congratulations on all the awards. Congratulations on all the awards to come.
Amen.
And we are making a commitment to you that as we have been there so far, much more will be there for you as you continue to deliver excellence in your career. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So when we come back, it will be time to have Dr. Abiola Salami's thoughts for the week. Stay with us.
The Kickoff Summit 2025. Start the year strong. Join us at the 2025 New Year Kickoff Summit, where the brightest minds and key market leaders come together to chart a course for success in the upcoming year. This dynamic gathering is designed to set the tone for peak performance across industries. Participants will gain valuable knowledge from experts across multiple sectors, including finance, technology, healthcare, entrepreneurship, and more. Key highlights: expert panels featuring industry leaders and trendsetters, comprehensive 2025 insights across diverse professions and industries. Register now at www.kickoffsummit.com.
Well, I think for me, for professionals and entrepreneurs to start the year on a strong note cannot be overemphasized. The reason is quite simple. How you start the year will ultimately determine how you end it. And you see, in life, if you don't know where you are going, anywhere you reach is home. So I think it's always good to say, hey, in January, while people are still recovering from the mood of this thing, for smart entrepreneur, that is the way to really get started. And in planning for January, your best bet is to actually use the last quarter to prep what next year is going to be like. Smart organizations would have started planning for next year right from last quarter of the following year, so that you mark out your plan, whatever training needs to be done, so that from January, while others are still sleeping, you can be rest assured your team are hitting the ground running. Because when you start on a high note like that, the tendency is that before other competing organizations wake up, you are already miles ahead. So I think that's just the best way to go, making sure that you keep your leg on the pedal every time and any time. Thank you.
You are listening to Becoming the Peak Performer with Dr. Abiola Salami, a platform for inspiring an inclusive culture of peak performance in the African marketplace.
Becoming the Peak Performer. Take for the week.
3 leadership errors preventing peak performance from corporate retreats, and what leaders can do to avoid these errors. Many leaders have the intention to get the best out of their retreats, but as the statement goes, the road to hell is usually paved with good intentions. Every leader wishes to have a great corporate retreat, but wishes are not horses. Great outcomes are not wished into existence. They are decided into existence. In other words, it is not so much what an organization wishes to achieve, but the combination of decisions it makes that determines what it eventually achieves. Over the past 12 years, I have facilitated leadership retreats for organizations in the private, public, and social sectors, and I have observed some common errors leaders make when implementing retreats. We'll be looking at 3 of them and how to avoid them. Number 1, when leaders make the retreat about themselves. Many leaders are megalomaniacs, even though they would hardly admit it. A corporate retreat, just like every other thing that demands responsible leadership, falls apart when individuals errors take precedence over institutions. This is why emotional intelligence is compulsory for leaders, because it equips you as a leader with a high level of self-awareness. A leader who is self-aware and self-assured would not double down on making themselves the center of attention during corporate retreats. They would instead shift the focus to other deserving persons, unsung heroes who may not have had their day in the sun. If you must remind everyone all the time that you are the boss, it may mean that you are not. Self-centered leaders tend to be control freaks with a penchant for micromanaging staff. This never bodes well for corporate retreats because it makes everyone else feel like appendages to the leader's ego. Whether they explicitly state it or not, staff members, especially those in the lower rungs of the organization, want to shine during such events. A classic example is when the CEO makes themselves the compere or MC of the event. Even when such a person has the gift of the gab, it is not advisable. Attendees might experience leadership fatigue. Balance is key. So just as it is not good for leaders to be indifferent or absent in the planning of the event, it is equally bad for leaders to be too involved. Number 2, when leaders don't address the elephant in the room. Corporate retreats aren't just for fun and games. They are for tackling germane issues that are critical to the success of any such organization. It is very unlikely that any organization will be in operation for 1 year without incidents. Human beings by their very nature are competitive, erratic, and even combative. It is inherent in us to exercise our human agency and rationale because every person is a product of religious, cultural, social, economic, and political conditioning. Hence, the differences in such conditioning are bound to manifest in one way or the other. What is more important is how these fallouts are addressed. The failure of leaders to effectively manage disputes among their talent pool during corporate retreats is very consequential. Corporate retreats are, among other things, used to run diagnostics on an organization's health and profile solutions where possible. Employer-employee relations are also an important feature during corporate retreats. Too great to ignore. Productivity in the workplace is a result of many factors: work atmosphere, processes, leadership style, diversity, work tools, remuneration and compensation, training and career opportunities, and many more. If any of these are missing from either the employer's end or the employee's end, there has to be a frank conversation about the way forward. People should never leave a retreat without a definitive solution to annotated problems. If there is a new technology that can greatly improve overall productivity, management should be able to state categorically that the organization will be acquiring it, or at least state a timeline for fixing or upgrading work tools. Insanity has been defined as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If we really truly want a different result in our organization, increase in revenue, operational efficiency, or retention of our stakeholders, it is important to wield retreats to our advantage. Number 3, when leaders don't tie actions to objectives. It is very possible that a corporate retreat ends up becoming one big jamboree. While such events are largely informal or semi-formal, there must be a method to the madness. Leaders must never lose track of key performance indices such as vision sharing, team bonding, cross-pollination of ideas, derivation of learnings, improvement of workplace culture, client relations, or customer experience, and other things. Every activity, whether it's training session, games, or simulated workplace tasks, should meet at least one or more of the laid out objectives. If facilitators are invited to such retreats, it should be because they address specific changes. For example, if an organization is having too many complaints from all its stakeholders, whether internal stakeholders or external stakeholders, about subpar service they have been receiving, then a customer experience plenary session is an appropriate inclusion in the corporate retreat, because a straight line can be drawn from the amount expended on hiring a resource person and the problem at hand. If one of the major challenges an organization experiences during its last operating year is infighting and tough words, then it makes sense for one or more of the games at such events to be team sports, where no one is an island and each person needs the other to win. The human resource manager could go a step further by intentionally pairing together people who don't see eye to eye on issues, making them to practice collaboration. As another example, if staff members have complained of work conditions, management could go out of its way to ensure that the venue for the retreat is ultra comfortable, a subtle promise of better times in the future. Along the same lines, corporate retreats are a great place to announce pay raises and promotions. It usually makes employees more energized. So, as you plan for your next leadership retreat, you may want to review these practices with your team in order to ensure your next retreat delivers peak performance.
Becoming the peak performer. Take for the week.
Thank you for listening to Dr. Abiola Salami's Take for the Week. We are happy to collaborate with your organization to facilitate your corporate retreats, equip your leadership team, and inspire a culture of peak performance in your organization. You can reach us on hello@abiolachamp.com or call us on 090-9123-4567. You can also follow me at Abiola Champ on all social media platforms.
You have been listening to Becoming the Peak Performer with Dr. Abiola Salami, the world-class performance strategist. Becoming the Peak Performer with Dr. Abiola Salami is a platform for inspiring an inclusive culture of peak performance in the African marketplace. For more resources, visit www.tppafrica.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at TPP Africa and on Twitter at TPP_Africa.
The Kickoff Summit 2025. Start the year strong. Join us at the 2025 New Year Kickoff Summit, where the brightest minds and key market leaders come together to chart a course for success in the upcoming year. This dynamic gathering is designed to set the tone for peak performance across industries. Participants will gain valuable knowledge from experts across multiple sectors, including finance, technology, healthcare, entrepreneurship, and more. Key highlights: expert panels featuring industry leaders and trendsetters, comprehensive 2025 insights across diverse professions and industries. Register now at www.kickoffsummit.com.